Welcome into game number 2 of today's doubleheader between the Anchorage Glacier Pilots and your Matsu Miners. The Miners victorious in game 1, 8-1, on which was really a wonderful display of pitching from starter Brady Corrigan, who went 4 innings, only giving up 1 run. And also the bats came alive throughout, right from the start, really, in the last game for the Miners, with 5 runs posted in the first inning. Nevertheless, we'll move on to game 2 now between the Pilots and the Miners. The Pilots dropped to 3-3 off the game 1 loss, and the Miners improved to 3-1. And we'll run through your starters right now for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. Starting at short and leading off is shortstop Jordan Arruda. Followed by him is third baseman Zechariah Gerard. And in the 3 spot, left fielder Braden Daniel. Followed by him in the cleanup spot is right fielder Eli Rollinson, followed by the first baseman Emilio Nogales. In the 6th spot is second baseman Alex Stiegler. And rounding out the last 3, catcher Mikey Gangwish, designated hitter Grant Parker, and in the 9-hole, center fielder Dominic Bascalina. So that's your 9 for the Pilots. The 3-3 Pilots, who have now lost 2 in a row to the Miners, dating back to the second game of the doubleheader on Friday when these 2 teams met. So on Friday, the doubleheader was splits. The Pilots looking to improve to that result in game number 2, whereas the Miners would like to have home field advantage and hold it well, I should say, and go 2-0 today. Some changes in the defensive lineup for the Miners with the addition to a few new players. Got 2 guys from Texas A&M came in yesterday, practiced with the team, and we're ready to get this one started as Jordan Arruda, the shortstop for the Pilots, steps in. The lefty faces the left-hander Kyle Kling for the Miners, who pitched in game 1 for the Miners. Pitched 2 innings for Matsu. The first pitch from King in the dirt for ball 1. King, the southpaw out of Cal State Bakersfield. As I mentioned, pitching in game 1. Pitched very well. 3 innings pitched, only gave up 1 hit on no runs. As his second pitch is low and in for a strike. So 1-1 count. As King misses on the outer edge. 2-1 sets the count to Jordan Arruda. Arruda, the shortstop, sort of struggled last inning on the defensive side just a little bit on the speed of the Miners. As King misses again, bouncing one in. Arruda works into a hitter's count, 3-1. Arruda went 0 for 2 in game 1. King winds and delivers. Misses again in the dirt, so King with some command struggles right off the bat. Arruda will reach on the walk. The Pilots get their first man on to start this game. Following him will be third baseman Zechariah Gerard. Third baseman. Gerard, the right-hander, so a little lefty on righty matchup currently. King kicks and delivers. Gerard goes for the bunt right in front of home plate, picked up by Pinerine. Thought about going down to second, instead goes for the easy play at first. So Gerard executes the sacrifice bunt perfectly. He is out. So the Pilots have 1 down and a man already in scoring position at the top half of this first inning. Still scoreless here in Palmer, as sort of seen that sun duck under the clouds ever since about midway in to the first game, I would say. So King working from the stretch with a man on second. His first pitch to left fielder Braden Daniel inside for a strike. King sets, shrugs his shoulders, still looking over at second. This pitch well inside had Daniel sort of hopping back for ball one. 1-1 count to Braden Daniel, the left fielder. Daniel 0 for 3 last game. Daniel lines one down the left field line, just foul. Wow, Daniel just waits a half second longer to turn on that one. That looked like a double written all over it. As the Pilots in the last game really not getting a lot of offensive production. Only 2 hits with 1 run. And already with a man aboard, threatening to start this one off. As King sets, kicks up, and then spins around to check back Aruda over at second. The 1-2 count, 1 down here in the top of the first. King's pitch. Just misses inside for a strike. That one looked to be right on the edge. Moves the count to 2-2 with 1 out. Here between the Miners and Pilots. And slashed up the middle by Daniel into center field. The throw home is off the mark. So Aruda will score for the Pilots off Braden Daniel's line drive right up the middle. Pilots take an early 1-0 lead over Matsu. So Daniel actually advanced to second on the throw.
Now batting right fielder number 12, Eli Rawlinson.
As it was well off the mark, nothing Pinerini behind the plate could really do with it. So Aruda comes around to score, and the Pilots now leading 1-0 as Eli Rawlinson, the right fielder, steps in. Stands on the right side of the dish. King's first pitch to Rawlinson. Misses low again, inside. So the Pilots tying the amount of runs they did in the first game, only scoring 1. And now with the lead for the first time all day. King's second pitch misses again inside. This one a little higher, but still around Rawlinson's ankles. King struggling to find the zone so far early in this game. As there's a man on second for the Pilots. King's 2-0. That one just misses low for a strike. So Rawlinson works a 3-0 count. King's 3-0 pitch. That one's nice fastball in there for a strike from King. And King, the veteran pitcher, the redshirt junior, just finished up his redshirt junior season, Cal State Bakersfield. Should be able to bounce back. So with 1 out, the count's 3-1 to Rawlinson. King's pitch smacked well high in the air. Over around the shortstop. Drew Swift taking a few steps over to his right, camped under it, and makes the grab for out number 2 of the inning. King works back from a 3-0 count. Gets it a strike and then gets Rawlinson swinging and popping one up for the second out of the inning. Nevertheless, the Pilots still have a runner on second with 2 down as first baseman Emilio Nogales steps in. He's a left-hander. So southpaw on lefty matchup here. King kicks and fires. Misses low and away for a ball 1. The 1-0 from King. Sliced over left side of the field, foul ball to tie up the count at 1. Nogales made a nice swing there on the inside pitch from King. So the Pilots with a 1-0 lead here in the top half of the first inning. There's 2 outs, the 1-1 count. Pitch is from King. Gets Nogales swinging through. So much that his elbow brace flew off, and Nogales a little disappointed himself. Frustratingly throws over his elbow pad. So King up in the count 1-2 with 2 down. Looks to get out of the inning here in the top of the first inning with only 1 run given up. The pitch Misses low and away. Pinarini has trouble grabbing it, and it'll dribble off to his left, and he'll pick it up. But before he does so, Braden Daniel will advance over to third. So Kyle King struggling right now, missing a lot of pitches low so far earlier in the game, early in this top half of the first inning. The 2-2 count. Pilots have a man on third. Swinging ground ball by Nogales over to the second baseman Owen, who flips it over to first to end the inning. So the Pilots hit one in off a base hit by Braden Daniel, driving in Jordan Arruda. They take an early 1-0 lead, and the Miners will bring the bats out here in the bottom half of the first inning on Matsu Miner Radio. Welcome back into Palmer, Alaska, Herman Brothers Field, home of your Matsu Miners. They currently trail the Pilots 1-0 as leadoff batter Drew Swift steps in and looks at strike one low and in from a 1-0 count. Starting pitcher for the Pilots is Jed Moscott, who pitches low and away as that just barely nips the dirt to tie up the count at 1. Pilots scoring 1 in the top half of this inning. Miners looking to bring it back as Swift looks at another inside ball. Bit of a jersey change for the Miners. Going with as Swift dribbles one up the left side. Going to be a tough play for Gerard, who decides not to throw. So the leadoff batter, Drew Swift, is on with a little dribbler down the third base line. Swift speed gets on once again. And now stepping in is third baseman Tyler Bozzetti. Quickly through the lineup. Leading things off at shortstop, Drew Swift, followed by third baseman Tyler Bozzetti. First baseman Aaron Walters, followed by right fielder Hunter Jump. And then the fifth spot, catcher Austin Pinarini, followed by left fielder Kona Quiggle. And in center, batting seventh, Danny Wright. Batting eighth, second baseman Brett Owen. And rounding things off, the designated hitter Connor Denning. As Tyler Bozzetti looks at strike one. So Swift reaching on a little dribbler. Bozzetti with a big triple as Swift is on the move. The throw down from Ganguis is not in time. The Swift speed is showcased again today. Swift with 2 stolen bases on Friday put his total up to 3 stolen bases on the year. With that one, makes it 4. So Drew Swift swiftly speeding around the bases. That pitch was in for a ball. Count sits at 1-1. Pitch to Bozzetti, misses low and in. Roll the count up to 2-1. Jed Moscott, the right-hander on the mound for the Pilots, has appeared in 2 games so far this year, has allowed 3 hits and 5 runs, all earned. So Moscott working out of the stretch with Swift on second, and his pitch to Bozzetti is fouled well over to the right side. Ties up the count at 2. So Bozzetti will have to protect. Nobody out here in the bottom half of the first inning. Pilots lead the Miners 1-0. Drew Swift stands on second. Bozzetti at the dish. He looks at one low and away. Makes the count full. I tell you what, that pitch was right on the edge. Definitely looked like it could have been a strike. Interesting that Bozzetti let off. But he is in at the plate, and I'm watching from behind the press box. A 3-2 from Moscott. Swung and belted by Bozzetti in the left center field. That's going to one-hop to the wall. Around third and scoring is Swift. Bozzetti will stand into second with a double. So Tyler Bozzetti ties the game up with 1 swing of the bat for the Mat-Su Miners. RBI double for the third baseman.
Number 15, Aaron.
As Drew Swift comes in to score standing. No out RBI double for Bozzetti. And now standing in is the first baseman, Aaron Walters, whose first game as a minor was actually last game 1 of the doubleheader, in which he went 0 for 4. So still looking for that first hit as a minor, and it'd be a great time to do it as Bozzetti stands on second. First pitch to Walter misses high at the numbers for ball 1. As Walters looks at another ball high and outside. As Bozzetti with a big hit, as we mentioned in game 1, that big triple. That was almost the same thing with a shot of a double. As Walters looks at another ball low and away, the count at 3-0. Jed Moscott not doing too hot up there on the mound. The big righty looks in, his 3-0. Offers in a strike to make the count 3-1. So Aaron Walters didn't seem like there's any chance of swinging on that one, but with a 3-1 hitters count, the light would have to be on, I would imagine. The 3-1, as Moscott picks up his leg and looks back over at Swift. Swift with a pretty aggressive lead over there. The 2 middle infields, Aruda and Stigler, aren't really covering the base that well as Walters lines one over to the left for a foul. Count now sits at 3-2. Impressive job here by Jed Moscott, working it full as he fell 3-0 originally in the count. Score tied up at 1 here in the bottom half of the first inning. Miners with no one out and a man on second. Walters lines one into left. That's going to drop in for a base hit, maybe more. Around third and scoring is Tyler Bozzetti, and the Mat-Su Miners once again take the lead. Nice piece of hitting there by Walters with 2 strikes, just simply protecting and not trying to do too much with it. Lacing a line drive base hit out to left center field. That'll bring up right fielder Hunter Jump. Another guy with a lot of pop in his bat, hitting some out in BP earlier today. As he looks at strike 1 on the outer half of the plate. Jump's 3 for 11 so far in this young season through 2 games. And all 3 of his hits have been doubles. That tells you a little something about his power. As he looks at strike 1. And Moscott throws over to first to check on Walters. Walters got to watch out for his speed a little bit. 11 stolen bases his senior year of high school. As Jumps swinging, lines it over to the shortstop Aruda, who tosses it back over to first to double up Walters. The Pilots get 2 outs off the double play. As Jump with just a hard hit liner right to Aruda, and really nothing Walters could do there. He was freezed up, tried to jump back in time. Unfortunately, did not work. So excellent play there by Aruda. as Austin Pinerini steps in. First pitch swinging, fouls it back. Pinerini not playing in game 1, catching here in game 2. Did play, however, in the second game of the doubleheader on Friday, went 1 for 3 with a run scored as he looks at a ball in the dirt. Pinerini out of Gonzaga, one of the late arrivals from the minors due to some postseason play. As he looks at Moscott's ball on the outside. Pinerini is a lefty, so a righty on lefty matchup. The 2-1. Pinerini dribbles one up the short. Arruda coming up to make the play. Tosses over Judd. Not in time. Excuse me. Pinerini with the excellent hustle through the base. Called safe, so Pinerini keeps this inning alive in the minors. The minors will look to improve this lead as Kona Quiggle steps in, lefty. I tell you what, tough play there by Arruda to try to run up on it and then throw over to first. But Pinerini speed a little too much. So Quiggle standing in the lefty. Now blasts one up high into shallow left center field. Jogging back and making the grab for the third out is Arruda, the shortstop. That'll end the inning, but not before the Miners tack on 2 runs on 4 hits. So the Miners get that lead right back, which they had for the whole game in game 1. They reclaim it here in game 2, leading the Pilots 2-1. This is the Mat-Su Miners Radio. Welcome back into the broadcast. We'd like to thank the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda for sponsoring the Mat-Su Miners internet broadcast. Once again, Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda, the official sponsor of the Mat-Su Miners internet broadcast. We welcome you back into the second inning of baseball between the Miners and the Pilots. Miners did give up a run back in the first inning, but avenged that by scoring 2 in the bottom half to claim the lead back 2-1 as lefty Kyle King stands on the mound for the Miners. And we mentioned in pregame, even a little bit back in game 1, that it was Colony Days yesterday here in Palmer, Alaska, where they celebrate the town of Palmer being colonized. And Kyle King was absolutely eating up every single second of it, loving the fans, giving everyone some hand slaps. He was all in it, much like all these rest of these other players. But a special shout out to King, who was really diving in the crowd and hanging out as he misses for ball 1 to start the inning to Alex Stiegler. But it really was a great day yesterday for all the Palmer community and the Miners as King's second pitch misses low and away. It's really nice for the Miners to do that, to walk through the parade. Even fellow broadcasters next to me, Connor and I, got to walk through, so that was quite the joy. As King's third pitch misses low again to move the count to 3-0. As Palmer is such an integral part of the Miners season. Crowd well over 830 in game 1. So they're very prevalent as King misses. He'll walk Alex Stiegler to begin the inning. So anyway, the Miners can give back to this community. They are willing to do so because they do so much for us. So thank you to any Palmer natives or Miners fans listening today, and to all at the game today who come in and support. It's greatly appreciated. So with nobody out, the Pilots do get a walk-on. Stegler stands on first. As Mikey Gangwish, the catcher, stands in. He'll look at ball one high and away. And the third baseman, Tyler Bozetti, calling time to talk to Kyle King. Try to calm his pitcher down. Gangwish, the right-handed hitting catcher, stands in with that open stance. King looks over to first, kicks and deals one in. Pinerini has trouble fielding the ball in the dirt, so Alex Stegler will advance over to second. And with that, pitching coach Jeff Erlab will call time and speak to his pitcher Kyle King, who has already suffered 2 walks so far on the day. He walked the leadoff batter Jordan Arruda back in the first inning, which led to a run being scored off a Braden Daniel single, which he advanced to second on the error on the throw. So, mountain meeting adjourned, and we'll get back to action. Aaron Palmer, and the sky's still looking pretty dark as the sun just dipped under the clouds. Not supposed to expect any rain as Gangwish grounds one over to the first baseman Walters. He'll take it himself, run over for the first out of the inning. So Gangwish is retired for the first out, but Stegler does advance on the out. That brings up designated hitter Grant Parker, the left-hander. Left-handed hitting, I should say. Or right-handed hitting, pardon me, out of the University of Southern California, USC. He looks at ball one in. To make the count 1-0. King definitely has fallen behind on every single count so far this inning. This time he offers in a strike. Fouled off by Parker and on the hands. Now 6 batters from King where he's throwing a first pitch ball. Only allowing one run so far as we sit in the second. Blows that one by Parker. And King is ahead in the count 1-2. Miners lead the Pilots 2-1 in the top half of the second inning. Pilots have a man on third with 1 man down. Kyle King standing there from the stretch. Takes a quick glance over to third and then kicks and deals. And on the breaking pitch, gets Parker swinging through for out number 2 of the inning. Nice pitch there from Kyle King to get Grant Parker off balance. That's his first strikeout of the game. Second out of the inning as center fielder Dominic Fascalina steps in.
Fascalina have been very versatile for the Pilots so far in this early part of the season.
As King delivers a high fastball swung through by Fascalina. That was King's first strikeout on this young season in his second appearance. First start of the season, came in for relief for Nolan Monahan in game 1. And gets Fascalina to foul one off well over to the right side, up towards that Miners bullpen, which there is some action going on. Just some, I'm sure, preliminary warm-up action.
Nathan Bach got that foul ball, handed off to a couple Matsu fans out there.
The 0-2 with 2 down from King. Misses high and in. Make the count 1-2. Nice waist pitch there by King. Always hard to hit the high and inside fastball, especially when it's well out of the zone. So King sets the 1-2 with 2 down. Fascalina, did he go? He did. Pinerini picks it up, tags him out. That's out number 3. So King walks one aboard. That runner makes it all the way to third, but he'll stop there. And the Miners will hold a 2-1 lead. And when we come back on the Matsu Miners radio, we'll be in the bottom half of the second inning from Herman Brothers Field. Welcome back into Herman Brothers Field as your Matsu Miners still leading the Anchorage Glacier Pilots 2-1, and they'll be up to the plate and running through the defensive alignment for the Pilots. Gangwish behind the plate, Gerard at third, Ruda at short, Stigler at second, and Nogales at first. In left is Daniel, in center is Fascalina, and in right is Rawlington. As Danny Wright, the switch hitting center fielder, stands in. He'll bat lefty and look at strike one rather by Jed Moscott, the right-hander. So the 0-1 to Wright is bounced in there for ball one. Wright is technically leading right now the Alaskan Baseball League in average, has 7 hits and 12 at-bats. So definitely off to a hot start, and that's why head skipper Ben Taylor leaves him in the lineup as he slices one foul over to the left side to move the count to 1-2. And
Danny's really been seeing the ball well, getting good at bats, working the counts, has 2 walks.
As Wright swings, hits one hard over to second, but swallowed up by Stigler and throws over to first for the first out of the inning. So Danny Wright is retired to start this inning. Now we'll step in is the second baseman from Kansas State, Brett Owen, the right-hander. Owen has started, like many of the other minors in the lineup, all 4 games to start the season as he looks at a strike in there on the low outside corner. Scott likes to work quickly as he misses high and in. Pitch to Owen. In there for a strike. 1-2. Owen playing some various positions so far to start the year as guys funnel in. Has played a little bit of infield and a little bit of outfield as he looks at a ball bouncing on the outside edge. Now playing into one of his more natural positions, second base. And he bloofs one just over the second baseman, Stigler, in there for a base hit. For a 1-out base knock. Nice piece of hitting there by Brett Owen. Just took one in on the hands and put a nice sweet swing on it to get him on the base. So Connor Denning, the designated hitter, steps in. Denning did not play in game 1. Denning also switch hitter, so the second switch hitter of this inning. Bottom half of the second, Miners leading 2-1. Moscott's pitch is high and away for ball 1. Miners lead 2-1 over the Pilots currently. Miners winning game 1 8-1. Did not get that same kind of offensive explosion in game 1 that we saw, here in game 2 that they saw in game 1.
Well, what was really nice to see, they got down 1 after the top half of the first. They came back and scored 2.
So the 1-0 to Denning. Misses low and in, and Owen is on the move on the mishap by Gangwish. His throw dribbles into center field off the hop, and Owen slides in safely. So that pitch was sort of on the inside part of the plate, bouncing in. Gangwish tried to block it, took a weird hop, rolled off to the right, and Owen was on the move. And Gangwish's throw just missed in low. Tough play there for Aruda to haul it. So the count sits at 2-0 to Connor Denning. Moscott's pitch. Hit hard over to second. Once again, swallowed up by Stigler. His toss over to first. Makes it out number 2. So we see another 4-3 as Stigler getting in his work. And that brings up leadoff man Drew Swift, who singled and scored in his last at-bat. Also had a stolen base as well, so can we see more of that Swift speed as he looks at a big breaker in for strike 1. Swift in his last at-bat, just that little dribbler that had a tough pay for Gerard, who couldn't quite make it. Swift in on his hands, popped up just high enough that Stigler can run under and make the grab. The Miners get a base hit, but they'll leave him aboard as we enter the 3rd inning. Miners still leading the Pilots 2-1 here on your Matsu Miners Radio. Welcome back into Herman Brothers Field once again in Palmer, Alaska. Running through your defensive alignment for the Miners is Pinarini behind the plate. Bozetti over at third. Swift at short. Owen at second. Walter stands in at first. His first start at first base this year. Quiggle at left. His first start in left as well. Right and center and Jump over and right. That's your defensive starters for the Miners as they currently lead the Pilots 2-1. And first pitch swinging is shortstop Jordan Arruda to lead off the inning. He has a base hit, rolls into right. Hunter Jump throws it in. So solid swing there by Jordan Arruda to lead off this 3rd inning with a hit. As his Pilots trail the Miners 2-1. In the top half of the 3rd inning, Kyle King still out there for Matsu. The southpaw still dealing. Worked his way into what may have been a jam, but he shut any thought about that by striking the final 2 batters out. So King looks over and then tosses back to first. Just barely missed. That throw was just a little late there from King. That move is pretty nasty. Has pretty much everyone in the stadium fooled that he's going home. Even Arruda over there on first thought he was headed home. And the fans in a bit of disgust. So the first pitch in the at-bat is high and into Gerard, who thought about bunting. But that fastball was up near the numbers. He had to duck out of the way pretty quickly. So count stands at 1-0. Really nice crowd again here for Game 2. A lot of fans staying. Some new ones walking in currently here in Palmer, Alaska. As once again, Gerard tries to bunt. That pitch is low and will roll all the way to the backstop. So Jordan Arruda will advance on the pass ball. And King, once again, misses low. That's been his miss all day long. And that's a tough play to make there of Pinarini behind the plate. As Gerard was squared up to bunt. Obviously, when the batter is squared up to bunt, that big lumber is just sitting right in front of the catcher's eyes. So tough to judge where the ball is going to bounce. So the Pilots with a man in scoring position with nobody out in the top of the 3rd inning. They trail 2-1. If Gerard can bring around Arruda, that would tie this one up. And once again, a wild pitch there from Kyle King. Misses low in, well inside, bounces all the way to the backstop. And Arruda will head on over to third. So no one out. The Pilots have a man on third off 2 pass balls from Kyle King. As the count sits at 3-0, King will look to work his way out of another jam.
If I'm Pinerini right now, I'm looking to call a ball up. I don't want the ball in the dirt to just skip by.
As the 3-0 is just in there for a strike. For strike number 1 of the at-bat, Gerard with a hitter's count, 3-1 with man on third. All he'd have to do is really put something in play, and especially if it goes over the infield, they'll tie this one up. King kicks and delivers. Gerard smacks one well over to the right side, slicing foul. So King once again works his way back to a full count. And believe we may have a broken bat, or at least a chipped part of the bat. As Gerard walks back and asks for another bat.
Oh, another one bites the dust.
These first-time users of wooden bat, you're definitely going to notice that. Top of the third inning here at Herman Brothers Field. Miners leading the Pilots 2-1, but the Pilots are threatening. Miners, with their win in their last game, now sit with just the Oilers at 3-1, leading the Alaskan Baseball League currently. The Pilots sit a game back at 3-3. Kings 3-2, misses just high for ball 4. Gerard's aboard off King's third walk of the day as head skipper Ben Taylor takes the slow walk out to the mound, and we will see a pitching change. So when we come back, we'll have a new man on the mound for the Miners as they still lead 2-1, but the Pilots threatening with 2 men on with nobody out in the top of the third inning. New man on the mound for the Miners is number 6, Nolan Monahan. So a little flip-flop action of what we saw, or I should say reverse of what we saw in game 1, where Monahan started and King came in for relief. Little opposite action as King starts and Monahan comes in to relieve him. Kyle King with a bit of a rough start, but not too terrible, as through 2 innings gave up 2 hits and only 1 run, which was earned. Just struggled with the 3 walks through 2 innings pitched and had 2 strikeouts as well to shut the door last inning. So both runners on the corners are King's responsibility. But Nolan Monahan looks to shut them down. And in his first start, went 4 innings, gave up 2 hits and only 1 run, which was earned, and a couple walks and 5 strikeouts. 5 strikeouts through 4 innings. That's dealing. And Monahan really was an opening night, especially at home. Really embraced the crowd, much like they do a lot, as he is from Wasilla, right down the road at Palmer.
A local hero, Nolan Monahan.
He really is, and he loves to embrace that sort of mantra. Whenever the locals, especially yesterday, we noticed in the Colony Days parade, a lot of people asking, hey, Monahan pitching for you guys again this year. Let's go, Nolan. Heard some Nolan chants. And he really loves to be that guy that these hometown kids look up to. And he loves to be that role model for him. So hopefully he can come in and help out the Miners right now in the top of the third inning with runners on the corners for the Pilots. Stepping in is left fielder, right-hander, Braden Daniel faces the left-handed Monahan. So Monahan looks at first, and his first pitch is popped well up right near the dugout. Pinarini ranges over. That's just out of range. Will fly into the right side bleachers. So Monahan gets a first pitch strike. To Braden Daniel, the left fielder. The righty on lefty matchup currently. Daniel 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts in game number 1. Monahan's 0-1, lofted well in the air. Drew Swift takes a couple steps back and then a few steps forward to make out number 1 of the inning. So through a few pitches, Nolan Monahan gets out number 1. Monahan's second year with the Miners. Pitched some very valuable innings last year on their championship run. So has some bling to show off from last year's championship season. Their repeat title. Looking for 3 this year is Matsu. Monahan's first pitch into Rollinson misses high for a ball. Tell you what, Monahan, with the way he delivers, has Gerard over there almost taking a step back every single time. Monahan has that nice lefty delivery. The 1-0, nice breaking pitch. Golfed by Eli Rollinson.
Well, that's the advantage of being a lefty. You're able to hold the man on at first and still sets up that double play.
Count evened up at 1 with 1 down here in the top of the third inning. Miners leading 2-1. Monahan delivers one that just missed. Seemed to be right in on the plate. Nevertheless, that's ball number 2. Pilots have runners on the corners with only 1 out. Eli Rollinson trying to tie this game up, possibly giving the Pilots the lead with a well enough hit. And he lines one right into left field, 1 hopper before Quiggle can get to it. And easily scoring from third base is Jordan Aruda. So the Pilots tie this thing right back up at 2. That run will be a test to Kyle King. And Gerard will move over to second off the base hit to bring in Emilio Nogales, left-handed hitting first baseman. Nogales 0 for 2 with a walk in the first game. As there's 1 out, men on first and second, Monahan's first pitch to Nogales misses low and away, bounces in the dirt. So the runner on second, Gerard, is King's responsibility, and on first, Rollinson is Monahan's responsibility and would be an earned run for his part if he were to come in and score. The 1-0 pitch, just in there on that lower outside corner to tie up the count at 1. Currently, the season series sits at 2-1 Pilots over the Miners, as the Miners only lost 1 game to the Pilots last year throughout the season, as they went 10-1 against the Glacier Pilots. Monahan with an excellent breaking pitch gets Nogales swinging through as he drops in the count 1-2. Miners really dominated that season series last year as well, with a +29 run differential throughout the season against the Pilots. Monahan's 1-2. Just misses on that outside corner to tie up the count at 2. And the Pilots actually have played 2 more games than any other team in the league currently, sitting at 6 games. All other teams have played 4. As Monahan once again misses on that outside corner with another fastball. So count sits at full to Emilio Nogales, the first baseman, who grounded out to second in his last at-bat. Runners on first and second for the Pilots. They are tied with the Miners 2-2 in the top half of the third inning. Monahan tries to throw over to the second. Excellent move. Gets Gerard guessing. And as he looked back, Gerard was actually already on the move to third. So Monahan just simply throws over to the third baseman, Bozzetti, who applies the tag for out number 2. That's a big out there for Monahan. So 2 down now and a full count. Monahan sets and delivers the payoff. Low and in the dirt, misses for ball 4. As Nogales, draws the walk. That's Monahan's first walk of the day.
Now batting second baseman number 26, Alex Stiegler.
Monahan's third walk of the season, as there's runners on first and second for second baseman Alex Stiegler. Right-handed hitting, second baseman. Monahan delivers, and Stiegler pops that one up. Running under it and over to his left is second baseman Brett Owen to retire the side. So Monahan comes in and gives up 1 run, but that's it. So the Pilots tie this thing up at 2. The Miners will look to hit and regain the lead in the bottom half of the third inning here on Matsu Miner Radio. Pilots tying this thing up at 2 in the top half of the third inning, but the Miners look to regain the lead here in the bottom half of the third inning. Leading things off for the Miners is third baseman Tyler Bozzetti, who doubled in a run in his last at-bat. He'll look at ball 1 to start the inning. Bozzetti out of University of Nevada, Reno. And he pops this one up high and behind the home plate. Under it is Ganglish, who can make the grab. So Bozzetti survives. And that's the second time today. Back in game 1, if you remember, Bozzetti flied a fly ball to the left and was unable to be caught by third baseman Kosis, in which then he smacked a triple on the next pitch. In game 2 now, Ganglish unable to grab the pop fly. And we'll see what Bozzetti does with this second chance. The one to Bozzetti. And he smacks one into left field for a base hit. Would you look at that? Tyler Bozzetti, twice now, pretty lucky on foul ground fly balls. And both times he takes advantage of it. This time with a base hit. So excellent work there by Tyler Bozzetti. And now stepping in is first baseman, Aaron Walters, who looks at ball 1 on the outside. So standing on first is Tyler Bozzetti, the third baseman. And Mo Scott will throw over to check him. As Bozzetti did show a lot of speed in that triple, so wouldn't be surprised if the steal is possibly on. Bozzetti rocking the stirrups today. Second pitch to Walters. Misses low and away. So Walters was pretty impressive back in high school. 4-year letter winner. As he slices one foul over the left side to make the count 2-1. Was a Texas High School Baseball Coaches Association All-Star. That's pretty impressive with the amount of talent that comes out of Texas. The 2-1 to Walters. Bounces it over to second. The throw over to short. They get one. Now they toss over to first for the second. 4-6-3 double play. The Pilots get the first 2 outs of the inning on one swing of the bat from Aaron Walters. That's going to bring up Aaron Jump with 2 down in the inning.
Hunter Jump really did a nice job in the first game. Knocked in a couple runs.
So he'll look at the first pitch to himself at a ball on the outside half of the plate for 1-0. Count 2 down for Hunter Jump, who bounces one over to second. Stigler throws over to first for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Miners do get a hit, but unfortunately, due to the double play, cannot make anything of it, and they will go down 3 batters up, 3 batters down. Score tied up at 2 still as we head into the 4th inning on Matsu Miner Radio. Welcome back into Palmer, Alaska, here at Herman Brothers Field. Tied up at 2 between the Pilots and the Miners. The Pilots coming up to the plate here in the top half of the 4th inning. After getting their 2nd run last inning, as Nolan Monahan did come in and give up the run, but was not earned to him, as it was attested to Kyle King. So Monahan still stands in there. Will work from the wind to start this inning. Mikey Gangwish leads this one off, and he'll foul it straight back over to the left side. Monahan winds and delivers. This time misses in the dirt. Pinarini lets that one dribble over the right side. Count tied up at 1-1. Monahan winds and delivers. This time just misses that outside edge for ball 2. The Pilots with only 3 hits with those 2 runs. Monahan misses on the inside. On the outside. A lot of walks issued, I should say. 3 walks issued to the Pilots that helped them drive in those 2 runs. Gangwish lifts one up to left field. Under it is Quiggle, who makes the grab for out number 1 of the inning. Not to mention Kona Quiggle, who plays outfield for most of his career. Speaking to him a few days ago, has played outfield ever since he was little. In the first 3 games here that he's been a Miner, he started at first base. Due to the absence of Aaron Walters, who's playing there now, who is still playing in regionals for Texas A&M. Grant Parker looks at strike one. The designated hitter steps in at the dish. Monahan winds and delivers. Parker lines one over to Quiggle. Quiggle diving catch. Kona Quiggle. What a grab over there in left field. We just mentioned it's his first start of his minor season at left. But what a grab to kick it off. For out number 2, Kona Quiggle with the web gem.
Quiggle laying out for that one. Read it right off the bat. Got a good jump and amazing diving catch.
What a grab there from Quiggle, who we did actually see some web gems for him in those first 3 games at first. So I guess wherever he's at, he's willing to put it out. This one popped up softly behind first base. Aaron Walters will run over and make the grab for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Pilots are set down in order this inning, 1, 2, and 3 by Nolan Monahan. And the Miners will look to retake the lead in the bottom half of the 4th inning on Sioux Miners Radio. Bottom of the 4th inning here in Palmer, Alaska at Herman Brothers Field, home to your Sioux Miners, as they step in and look to take the lead as it's tied up at 2, as I just mentioned. Austin Pinarini will step in, the catcher out of Gonzaga, left-handed hitting catcher, throws right-handed, but swings the bat the left side. Moscott still in there for the Pilots as he delivers the first pitch low and away that Pinarini fights off for strike number 1. Watching Austin Pinarini in batting practice, he has one of the smoother swings I've ever seen in my life. Not really try to turn on it too hard, just has a nice smooth swing through the wheelhouse as he fouls off another one for strike number 2. And there seems to be some discussion now as head man for the Pilots, Guido Espieta, comes up and gets right in the home plate umpire's face. Maybe he thought that was a fair ball. And he's really getting in him, really trying to grill him.
Well, I think he threw him out. I think Guido has been thrown out of the ball game.
I believe you may be correct. As he hands off the lineup card to his associate head coach, Larry McCann, and I think you might be correct that Guido Espieta is out of this ball game. So now the Pilots look like they'll have to go the remainder of this game without their head skipper. So they will, I believe, wait for him to leave the dugout until we resume this game. And I tell you what, Connor, that is a play that you may want to argue, but I don't know necessarily if that's one you want to get thrown out of, because it was really a bang play, whether it was a foul or it was in play.
I don't know if it was fair or foul, but you're right. It's not worth getting thrown out here in game 2.
So play resumes, and Moscott delivers a ball blown away to make the count 1-2. So Moscott winds and delivers, misses high to Pinarini.
I just kind of wonder what Guido Espieta said.
The 2-2 to Pinarini. Bounces in for ball 3. So Pinarini, after going down 0-2, has worked his count full. The 3-2. Pinarini fouls it off high to the left side. And you got to wonder what the rest of the Pilots are thinking this early in the season. Guido Aspieta already thrown out. The 3-2 to Pinarini. Got him looking. Strike number 3. Nice pitch from Jed Moscott for his first strikeout of the game. As Kona Quiggle steps in, fresh off that nice diving catch he made in the top half of the inning. Left-hander Quiggle looks at ball 1 low. Quiggle having a very impressive start to his minor season, and he adds on to it with a line drive right up the middle. As Foscolina comes running in to toss it in. So Kona Quiggle reaches aboard with 1 down. And that'll bring up Danny Wright, who grounded out to second in his first at-bat. Wright playing center field tonight, has now played all 3 outfield positions in this young minor season. He's batting from the left side, the switch hitter. Batting from the left side due to the right-handed Moscott as he looked at strike 1. Quiggle out on first. Game tied at 2 in the bottom half of the 4th inning. The pitch to Wright is high and away. Moscott from the stretch steps off. Take a quick breather. Pilots in their blue uniforms, gray pants, white and blue cap. And the Miners in their green uniforms with their white pants, green socks, green cap. That pitch is low outside corner to right for strike number 2. 1-2 the count with 1 down. Danny Wright in for the Miners. He swings through the pitch for a strikeout and out number 2 of the inning. And Moscott's second strikeout of the game.
Now batting your second baseman, number 1, Brett Owen.
So it's Jed Moscott's fourth strikeout of the season, second of the game. As right-handed hitting Brett Owen steps in, and Quiggle quickly on the move, steals second. And I tell you what, Connor, these Miners like to run this season already a good amount of stolen bases for Matsu.
Well, that's the way their team is kind of built. They're built on speed. They're built on good hitting and power. And then, of course, they've got some great pitching. Really nice recruiting from head coach Ben Taylor and general manager Pete Christopher.
Folks, the announcement you've been waiting for.
So
Half-price burgers and cheeseburgers.
Brett Owen stands in and looks at
No pushing and
strike
shoving.
1,
Children first.
low and inside. That ties up the count of 1. The pitch that Quiggle stole on was a ball. So Owen looking at strike 2, low and away. And that's head skipper Ben Taylor's mantra. He likes to play aggressive, likes to have that speed, and obviously loves to build around pitching. So be interested to hear his thoughts about all the stolen bases so far this season. In our post-game interview, we will have winner draw or loss with head skipper Ben Taylor. So the 1-2 to Owen. Bites it off over the right side. That was right at the last second. Owen decided to swing as it slices well over to the right side. 1-2 is the count. 2-2 is the score in this bottom half of the 4th inning. Miners with the runner in scoring position. Quiggle out on second. And Owen lost one into left center field, running all the way over is Foscolina, who's on his horse and makes the diving catch for out number 3 of the inning. So just as when we thought the Miners might be taking the lead Foscolina says no, no, and makes an excellent defensive play to end this 4th inning. We're still tied up at 2 as we head into the top of the 5th inning here on Matsu Minor Radio. Tied up at 2. We've been tied since the 3rd inning here in Palmer, Alaska at Herman Brothers Field. And we enter the top half of the 5th inning. Monahan still on for the Miners as Jordan Aruda steps in. The Fresno State player out of Clovis, California, redshirted his freshman season at Fresno State as he stands in, the left-hander, playing shortstop today. Monahan winds and delivers a strike on the upper corner, and Aruda, back in high school, went back-to-back CIF Central Section baseball champs as Monahan misses low and in. And his high school actually received a #1 ranking in the USA Today Top 25. So he was on a very storied high school baseball career as he lines one right up the middle into center field. Aruda, for the 3rd time today, gets on being the leadoff man. Did it back in the 1st inning on walks. In the 3rd inning, reached on a base hit as he just did now here in the top of the 5th. So the Pilots have a go-ahead run on first, tied up at 2 in the top of the 5th inning. As third baseman Zechariah Gerard steps in. Gerard actually pitched in Game 1 of the doubleheader back on Friday. Monahan tosses over, but Gerard was pretty close, knowing that these Miners lefties moves are really good, and he wasn't trying to risk it, knowing that he is the go-ahead run. So Gerard steps into the batter's box, takes a bounce on the plate, spins his bat, and he's ready to go. Monahan kicks and delivers. Misses high and away for ball #1. Owen Monahan out of Feather River Community College out in California. And as we mentioned numerous times before, hometown kid, hometown favorite out of Wasilla, Alaska. His 1-0 misses outside. The quick throwdown from Pinarini just misses. That was a nice snap throw there from the catcher from Gonzaga. But Aruda dives back safely. So man on first. Tied at 2. No outs in the top of the 5th. Monahan looks and delivers the pitch. The 2-0 just misses high and away. Make the count 3-0. You see some minor pitcher doing some calisthenics out near the bullpen, but could just be to stay warm as we have cloud cover of that sun. Monahan's 3-0 in there for a strike to make it a hitter's count of 3-1. Still good sized crowd here at Herman Brothers Field. Reached 827 in game 1. I would have to imagine the number is very similar here in game 2. The hitter's count pitch from Monahan misses high and away for ball number 4. Pilots get their first 2 men on. Show a little bit of threat.
Now batting left fielder number 14, Braden Daniel.
As that's Monahan's first walk, rather. As pitching coach Jeff Erlab steps in.
Well, the home plate umpire is not given the outside corner. That's kind of where Kyle King tried to pitch. He didn't last very long, went 2 innings. Nolan Monahan just gave up the walk. Pitch was on the outside corner. Maybe with somebody else looking at balls and strikes, could be one. It's objective.
Yeah, so Erlab once again trying to calm down his southpaw out there. And they definitely need it tied up at 2 as we approach the 5th inning. Only playing 7 today, ladies and gentlemen, due to the doubleheader. So 2 shortened games. Monahan stands in. Runners on first and second. Corners in for the Miners. Braden Daniel, the left fielder, tries to bunt, pops it up well behind. And as Pinarini pops his headgear off to look back, it was already dropping towards the backstop. Really no chance of a play there for Pinarini if he would have tried to sprint back there. As Braden Daniel looked to sacrifice. Walters at first playing inside the base path and on the infield grass. Third baseman Bozetti even with the third base bag. Monahan checks over at second. Daniel shows bunt. Once again, pops it straight back into the same spot. So Monahan now ahead in the count 0-2. And Daniel, I would imagine, has to swing the bat now. And his coach over there can't be too happy about that.
Well, he's a number 3 batter. I'm sure he's not used to bunting. It is the right move to bunt with runners at first and second. But, again, something he's not likely to be called upon to do.
So with nobody out and 2 on, the 0-2 is low for Monahan, bounces in the dirt. Nice block there by Pinarini to leave it in front of him. Tell you what, Pinarini is definitely working back there tonight, as most pitches by the Miners pitchers have been missed low and in the dirt. He's doing an excellent job of trying to block it the best he can. Monahan comes set, the 1-2. Blasted high into the right field. That's a foul ball, ranging over, trying to make the grab or Walters and jump, but neither can quite get over there in time, as that was placed just perfectly distance-wise, halfway or right, directly in the middle between right and first, and then all the way over to the right side near the Miners bullpen, as there seems to be some action over there in the pen. So the count's still at 1-2. Monahan on the mound. Braden Daniel, the left fielder, stands in. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Grounded. Oh, and this one's blasted into left center field. That's going to get well over the outfielders. That's going to take one hop before Wright can get it around third, and scoring is Aruda. So the Pilots take a 3-2 lead here in the top half of the 5th off Braden Daniels' no-out double. Excellent piece of hitting from Daniel. He just took that right in the wheelhouse and blasted one.
I think that's all it's going to be for Noah Monahan.
As head skipper Ben Taylor walks out to the mound before Eli Rollinson can have a chance to step in the dish. And with this pitching change, will give us a chance to thank our official sponsor of the internet broadcast, Napa Auto Parts, and owner Jim Ruda. So thank you for being the official sponsor of the Matsu Miners internet broadcast. One more time. The official sponsor of the Matsu Miners internet broadcast is Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. So the new thrower in for the Miners will be number 32, Malachi Emmond. Emmond came in on Friday, Connor, in game 2, and 3 up, 3 down with 2 strikeouts. Looked pretty much unhittable against these Oilers, so I'm sure they're not too excited to see him again.
Well, as we said, Malachi was on a couple draft boards for the MLB, and unfortunately wasn't drafted. Coming here to the Alaskan Baseball League, prove himself, pad his stats a little bit, and really show the world what he can do.
That's exactly it, and that's what most of these guys really like to play in these competitive summer leagues, such as the Alaskan Baseball League, which is one of the top tier ones. They want to show and play guys they normally wouldn't play against in regular season, because you play a good amount of games out of conference, but then you get into that conference schedule, you're seeing pretty much the same teams throughout over half your season. So when you come into that summer league, you see guys from maybe your Pac-12 guy, you'll face the SEC guys. You'll face a guy from the ACC. Whereas you're not just playing Pac-12 opponents all the time. Nevertheless, it is a great way to show off your skills as scouts know where to look and know what leagues to watch. So Malachi definitely doing a great job of that on Friday as he relieves Nolan Monahan, who came in the third in relief for Kyle King. Gave up Nolan Monahan giving up 1 run, which was earned. 3 walks, and no strikeouts. So Monahan, once again, final stat line for him. 2 innings pitched off. The Pilots got 1 run, which was earned off 3 hits. Nolan Monahan. So stepping in, the right-hander, Malachi Emmond, 6'3", 215-pounder out of New Mexico. He comes in with runners on second and third. Corners playing in for the Miners. His first pitch is high and in to Eli Rollinson, the right fielder. Rollinson went 1 for 3 in game number 1, one of 2 hits for the Pilots, as Emmond misses on that outside edge. So Pilots threatening right now with nobody out, runners on second and third. Tie ball game at 2. Emmond, the right-hander, faces the right-hander Rollinson. The 2-0 from Emmond. Hits that lower outside corner. Nice slider from Emmond.
And Rollinson did not like that call. We've already had 1 head coach thrown out of the game. You don't want a player get thrown out.
2-1 from Emmond. Once again, comes back with that breaking pitch to tie up the count at 2. Has Rollinson sort of locked up. So Gerard stands on third. Daniel on second off of his double in that last at bat. Emmons 2-2 to Rollinson. Gets him looking, locks him up again with that breaking pitch right across the zone. I tell you what, Connor, that was Emmons' go-to pitch in Friday, and he's doing the same thing tonight.
You just got to love the way that Malachi pitches these batters. He's not afraid to go after them. And he's been rewarded with his aggressiveness. 3 strikeouts now in 1 1/3 innings pitched.
Definitely a dominant relief pitcher Emmond is, as Emilio Nogales steps in. He's 0 for 1 on the day. He walked, actually, in his last at-bat and was held up at first. So Emmond up in the count, 0-1 currently, with 1 down now in this top of the 5th inning. Nogales swings through an Emmond fastball, and now he's 0-2. Emmond looking to pounce on another Pilot hitter. 1 down, top of the 5th inning. Pilots lead the Miners currently 3-2, and they have runners on second and third. The 0-2 misses just low for the first ball. I tell you what, Emmond once again, we're going with that breaking pitch, Connor, just missed.
Well, it's a close pitch, and you don't want to throw strikes all the time. You want to pitch around the strike zone, try to get the batter to go out and fish for something.
Emmons 1-2. That one just misses on that outside corner. And Connor, you were right. This This umpire, home plate umpire, that is being very consistent with that call in the outside corner. So count tied up at 2 with 1 down. Emmond kicks and delivers. This one in the dirt, bounces off, I believe, Pinarini's foot to the backstop. Scoring from third is Gerard, and the Pilots take a 4-2 lead off the pass ball. And Daniel will head all the way over to third. So Emmons' pitch did not seem that wild, but I think it just hit Pinarini's foot when he tried to block it. So the Pilots now with a 4-2 lead over the Miners. And that run will actually be a test to Nolan Monahan, as those were her runners on. His runners on, I should say. And the 3-2 just misses. And Emmond, in utter disbelief.
Oh, that was a strike. I don't want to argue balls and strikes up here. That's not our job. But home plate umpire said it was a little high. It was a great slider from Emmond. And like I said, it's not our job to call balls and strikes. But that one, if it missed, it was not by much.
So with 1 down, Alex Stigler steps in with runners on the corners. But double play opportunity now for the Miners as Emmond rears back and delivers a fastball right in there. The lower half of the plate. Emmond, after that pitch was thrown, sort of jumped and then just stood and stared and with his arms out to ask, where was that? Nevertheless, he's now ahead in the count 0-1, Stigler. He rocks and fires. Big bender. Barely misses. And once again, Emmond shows his disinterest in the call as it's 1-1. Stigler, the second baseman, right-handed second baseman, 0 for 1 on the day, walked in his first at-bat in the second inning. Emmons 1-1. Swung through and missed by Stigler. And I tell you what, Connor, Malachi is really starting to bring the heat now with his frustrations.
He's not a man you want to get angry.
So Emmond comes set. The 1-2. Kicks and fires. Another big breaker that just misses on the upper half of the plate. Count tied up at 2 as Emmond sort of walks on the mound to take a deep breath. So he would like to get out of this inning without any more runs getting aboard. Runners on the corners for the Pilots as they hold a 4-2 lead here in the top half of the 5th. Emmons pitched 2-2, swung on and missed by Stigler. The big bender gets Stigler swinging through for out number 2 of the inning. So Emmond up to 4 strikeouts on the season. And the Miners now have 2 down. Runners still sit on the corner for Mikey Gangwish, the left-handed hitting catcher. He's 0 for 2 on the day. Emmond, first pitch to Gangwish is bounced over to first. Walter makes the play. He holds off Emmond and will make the play himself for out number 3 of the inning. So the Pilots do get 1 in, but they do leave 2 on base. And the Miners will look to come back as we enter the bottom half of the inning. Pilots leading the Miners 4-2 on the Matsu Miners radio. The Pilots holding a fresh new lead 4-2 over the Miners as they come back on the field and look to play some defense. But the Miners bringing the bats out here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. And some score updates around the league. In the Bucks and Oilers playing a doubleheader down in Kenai today. Oilers getting the advantage in games 1 and 2 as they won 2-1 in game 1. And in game 2, they were victors 5-2 over the Bucks. And now stepping in for the Miners is designated hitter Connor Denning. Denning, another one of those guys who's been thrown in some weird positions, played left field in game 1. That was the first time he's played outfield in 3 years. And Denning looks at the first pitch from Moscott, low and away. Denning 0 for 1 today, grounded out to second in the second inning. And the Miners are down 2 here in the bottom of the fifth. As we're playing a shortened game, as Moscott's second pitch is in there for a strike as well on the lower part of the plate. Only playing 7 innings due to the doubleheader. So 9 outs remaining for the Miners. As Moscott misses low and away to make the count 1-2. Connor Denning, the switch hitter, batting left against the righty Moscott as he looks at a ball low and away. Denning did not play in game 1. As count tied up at 2, Moscott winds and delivers. Misses again on that outside part of the plate. 3 straight balls, all 3 have been on the outer half. He'll look to bring it in as the count's full. Denning swinging on the full count, fouls it over to the left side. Connor Denning 3 for 10 through 3 games played. This is his 4th game. Has an RBI, and it actually has been hit by a pitch this season, and it's come around to score once. So the full count, Denning bounces one over to first. Nogales makes the play himself for out number 1 of the inning. Excellent play there by Emilio Nogales, the real routine. And that's going to bring up shortstop Drew Swift. He's 1 for 3 on the day, and when he did reach back in the first inning, he did steal and then ended up coming around to score, so the Miners would definitely like to see him back on base again as he looks at ball 1 high and in. Swift, the shortstop from Arizona State, hails from Chandler, Arizona, as he looks at a ball in the dirt on the outside edge. Swift actually going to high school with Miner teammate Braden Merritt. Merritt not playing in game 2, started in center in game 1. So Swift looks at a strike high and inside, in which they went to Hamilton High School, won 3 state championships in baseball. They're out there 4 years. As Swift looks at one high and in for a ball and works into a hitter's count. Said they grew up playing baseball together and have rejoined each other after a year of spring ball as Swift pops one high over to the right side, jogging over and making the grab as Nogales for out number 2 of the inning. So with 2 down, Tyler Bozzetti will look to spark up a little magic here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Bozzetti 2 for 2 on the day. Doubled in his first at-bat and singling in his second at-bat. Did have an RBI on that double back in the first inning. Right-handed hitter out of University of Nevada, Reno. Swings through a fastball. Actually may have fouled it off. Actually went to a knee after he fouled it off. So Moscott threw 4 2/3 now. Giving up 7 hits, but only allowing 2 runs. Those 2 runs came back in the first inning. Ever since then, the Miners haven't been able to get another one on the board as he delivers a low ball in the inner part of the plate. That part of the zone just has not been real friendly to pitchers today. Moscott winds and delivers. Bounces and get over into foul territory is Bozzetti. Bozzetti coming into this game had a .400 on base percentage, drawing a couple walks as he played. So the 1-2 to Bozetti. He slaps one over to left field. Quickly ranging back and making the grab is Daniel for out number 3 of the inning. The Miners get set down in order once again. And we'll head in to the 6th inning with the Pilots leading the Miners 4-2 on Matsu Miner Radio. We've now got another pitching change for the Miners. Pitching change number 3 of the day as it comes here in the 6th inning. The big lefty out of Kerrville, Texas, just finished up his spring season at Texas A&M as he was playing postseason ball with them. Actually just made it in the other day. So this is his first appearance as a Miner. Lacey hails from Texas A&M, went to school at Texas A&M, I should say, where posted some pretty solid stats through 39 and a third innings pitched, had a 2.75 ERA, only allowing 28 hits with 48 strikeouts. He's definitely a big figure out there, 6'4", 180. So he comes in to relief Malachi Emmond, who pitched, when he came in to relieve Monahan, pitched a flawless 3 batters.
A run did score on the pass ball, though.
So Lacey from the line faces designated hitter Grant Pitcher. He misses outside. Ball 1. Emmond with an innings pitched, 2 strikeouts as Lacey delivers an inside strike. Lemon with 2 strikeouts in his inning of work. Did allow a walk, however, but his only run that he gave up, but it was not attested to him, was off a pass ball. So Lacey's 2-1. In there for a strike to even up the count of 2. Lacey was drafted out of high school, 31st rounder by the Cleveland Indians. Obviously decided to forgo that and play some college ball to maybe improve his status as he rings Grant Parker up. So Asa Lacey's first appearance as a Matsu Miner is a called strike 3 strikeout to start this 6th inning.
Welcome to Palmer, AC.
And what a way to welcome yourself to this home crowd is to strike a pilot out. So Dominic Foscalina steps in, the center fielder. Or excuse me, pinch hitter now in the game. 32, Garrett Kosis stepping in for Foscalina. He's the left-hander, so now we have a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Kostis swings through for strike number 2, 1-2. Lacey once again getting ahead in the count. Kostis started in game 1, went 0 for 2. As Lacey's 1-2 pitch just misses on the outer edge. And he shows his disagreement by sort of bending over and saying, "What?" As the count's tied up at 2 with 1 down. Pilots leading 4-2. Lacey's 2-2 got Kostis swinging through. So 2 men up for the Pilots and 2 strikeouts. So Asa Lacey's first 2 batters he's faced in his minor career have been set down on strikes. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. Pilots lead the Miners 4-2. But if Asa Lacey keeps this pitching up, that lead's just going to stay right there, and the Miners will have a chance. Lacey out of the wind, the southpaw, hits that outside corner. 0-1. Stepping in shortstop, Jordan Arruda, 2 for 2 on the day, has reached all 3 times. Walked in his first at-bat, and back-to-back at-bats, he's singled. He's also scored all 3 times as well, so the Miners definitely would not want him back on the base paths. Lacey ahead in the count, 0-2 with 2 down. Just misses low to Arruda. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. Asa Lacey looking for his 3rd strikeout. The kick and deals. Misses low and away as that dribbles over to the left side. Count tied up at 2. Asa Lacey looking to make quick work of the Pilots. He winds and delivers the 2-2. Swung on and missed by Jordan Arruda. Asa Lacey comes in the game and delivers 3 straight strikeouts to start his Miners career to keep the score at 4-2. The Miners look to tie things up as we head into the bottom half of the 6th inning on Matsu Miner Radio. Welcome back into the bottom half of the 6th inning between the Pilots and the Miners. Pilots leading the Miners 4-2, but they were definitely shut down in the top half of the inning off 3 strikeouts by Asa Lacey. 3 straight strikeouts, that is. As Aaron Walters steps in, the first baseman. Some defensive changes for the Pilots as Walters is swinging. A 1-hopper over to second. Stigler swallows it up and tosses over to first for the first out of the inning. As I said, the defensive changes as Kostis came in to pinch hit for Foscolina. Kostis goes to third, and then Gerard will move into center for Foscolina. So Aaron Walters grounds out to second for the first out of the inning. Now stepping in for the Miners is right fielder Hunter Jump, batting from the left side. Jump 0 for 2 on the day. Had a couple hits in their last game, or in game 1, I should say, which was earlier today. Went 2 for 4, 2 RBIs. First pitch to Jump just misses on the outer half of the plate. Jed Moscott still working for the Pilots as he gets a strike on the outer corner. The 1-1 from Moscott. Misses low to jump. Two 2-1 from Moscott. Bounces right over the head of Moscott. And then Stigler can't make the play over its second. Jump will reach. So the Miners get a man on in the top half of the 6th inning. We're only playing 7 innings in this game, ladies and gentlemen. So the Miners down to 5 outs, and Jump hits up, reaches. So Austin Pinarini steps in, left-handed hitting catcher, with 1 down and Jump on first. Big bender, doesn't quite bend all the way for Moscott. Pinarini would be the tying run if he were to happen to come in for the Miners. And with little time to go, only playing 7 innings, this is the time to go for the Miners.
What a moment it would be if Pinarini hits first home run for the Miners, huh?
That would be first of the season, too. As Pinarini looks at one on the outer edge to tie up the count of 1. So 1 ball and 1 strike and 1 out in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Pilots leading 4-2. Moscott from the stretch. Tosses over to first. Jump diving back quickly in time. Definitely not want to see Jump get picked off this late in the ball game, especially with the Miners trailing. Moscott comes set. Looks over to first. Kicks and deals. Pinarini swinging, fouls it back. Count at 1-2. So the Miners went on to win game 1, 8-1. But this game, the Pilots leading for the most part, 4-2. And on Friday, they split the doubleheader. The Pilots trying to get that same result tonight as Pinarini fouls it away. Count will sit at 1-2. 1 down. Pinarini got a hit back in the first inning, but struck out in his last at-bat. 1-2 from Moscott. Pinarini blasts one into right field, but that actually dies, and Rawlington will make the grab. Over and right for the second out of the inning. So stepping in is the left fielder, Kona Quiggle, with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. Quiggle now stands as the tying run. Quiggle with a base hit in his last at-bat, and then got his first stolen base of the season. So the big lefty stands in there against the right-handed Moscott. Moscott delivers to Quiggle, misses high and away. Quiggle definitely has some pop in his bat. Hit a few over the fence earlier in BP. 1-0 to Quiggle. Misses low and away. So Jump over there on first. After reaching on the little bouncer over the middle of the infield. The 2-0 to Quiggle. Quiggle swinging. Liner right to second. Stigler with the nice defensive stop. Throws over to second for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Miners get 1 on, but they leave them aboard and no runs as we enter this final inning of play of Game 2 of today's doubleheader. Pilots leading the Miners 4-2 on Matsu Miner Radio. And once again, we see for the 5th time tonight a new pitcher for the Miners. Number 34 out of Boston College, Sean Hughes, who we did see in Game 2 of Friday's doubleheader. Did not fare too well. 2 1/3, gave up a couple hits, walked 2, and gave up a run, which was earned. So we'll look to do a little better, and the veteran guy would have to expect wants more out of himself in this game, as his first pitch is to Gerard, fouled well back over to the right side. Hughes with that live arm throws a nice fastball and then has a nice breaking slider. The righty out of Boston College. The 0-1 from Hughes. And it was a called ball, and they say Gerard held off. Count tied at 2, 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody out. In this final inning of play, only playing 7 due to the doubleheader. Gerard fouls it straight back. Hughes is ahead in the count, 1-2. So the Pilots scoring in the 1st, 3rd, and 5th innings of this game. So they've scored in every single odd one. If you're a Miners fan, you do not want to see him score again in this odd inning. As Gerard fouls another one over to the right side to stay alive at 1-2. Pilots leading 4-2. They got 1 run in the 1st inning, 1 in the 3rd, and then 2 back in the 5th. As Hughes with that big bender bends in for strike 3. That's called for out number 1 of the inning. Hughes' first strikeout of the day for the first out. And Zachariah Gerard knew his strike 3 right when it hit Pinarini's mid, as he automatically turned around and started walking back to his bench. Frustrated himself for not swinging. As that brings up left fielder Braden Daniel, the lefty, as Hughes just misses on the outer edge. Daniel with the big double in his last at-bat. Had an RBI. So Hughes misses again with the fastball on the outer edge. Count at 2 balls, no strikes, with 1 man down. Hughes this time delivers a strike on that outer edge. Sit at 2-1. Hughes just finished up his redshirt junior season at Boston College. As he hits again on the corner to tie up the count at 2 with 1 man down in the top half of the 7th inning here at Herman Brothers Field in Palmer, Alaska. The 2-2 from Hughes. Tried to hit again with that fastball, but missed on the outer edge. Count now is worked to full by Daniel. Daniel 2 for 3 on the day. Hughes' breaking ball misses just low, and he'll walk Braden Daniel aboard. Hughes' 3rd walk of the season, but does give the Miners a double play opportunity if a ground ball were to be hit. Bringing up number 12, Eli Rollinson, the tall right fielder. Rollinson out of Bradley University. Hughes' first pitch to Rollinson is in there for a strike. I tell you what, I got to like the name of the university Rollinson hails from. Quite a great name. Hughes glances over at first. Delivers the 0-1. Fastball high and in. Almost hit Rollinson.
Gee, I wonder why you'd like that name.
Notable alum from Bradley University is former NBA player Anthony Parker. As Hughes 1-1 count with 1 down here in the top of the 7th inning. Misses in and low. Count worked up to 2-1. Pilots leading the Miners 4-2. They now have a man on first, but have 1 out. So the Miners looking for that double play ball as Even a few fans maybe have left as Rollinson lines one in the left field. A couple hops before Quiggle grabs that one. And the Pilots now with 2 aboard and only 1 down in the top of the 7th inning. Emilio Nogales steps in as Austin Pinarini makes a quick mound visit. Trying to calm Hughes down. Pinarini did catch for Hughes in Hughes' first appearance on Game 2 on Friday. So with 2 runners on, first baseman Emilio Nogales steps in, has 2 walks on the day. As Hughes delivers a nice fastball. Nogales. That sun has definitely been hidden by the clouds for most of the day today. When we first got to the ballpark, it was pretty sunny. Hughes is 1-1 in there for strike 2. Oh, Hughes ahead in this count, 0-2 with 1 down to Nogales. This would be a huge strikeout if Hughes can get it. He gets his signal, comes set, glances over at second. Long look at second, now kicks and fires. Fastball just misses on the inner part of the plate. A lot of emotion shown today from the Miners pitchers when they think they have gotten one in there. Nevertheless, count moved to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sean Hughes' pitch dribbled foul before Bozetti can pick it up. So count will stay at 1-2. To Emilio Nogales. Nogales, the left-handed hitter, uses the righty. Checks second again. His 1-2. Misses high and away. So count sits at 2 balls, 2 strikes. In 1 down, runners on first and second for the Pilots, who lead 4-2 in this top 7. Nogales swings through a fastball for out number 2 of the inning. Hughes with his second strikeout of the game for the second out of the inning. That's Hughes' 3rd strikeout on the year. So stepping in now, second baseman Alex Stegler, who 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout, walked in his first at-bat back in the 2nd inning, but has yet to get a hit. So with 2 outs, Hughes looking to shut the door as his fastball runs inside, barely misses Stegler, and will fly to the backstop and advance the Pilot runners to 2nd and 3rd. I tell you what, that pitch was well inside as Stegler had to really hop out of the way, barely missed his arm. That one definitely would have hurt as that fastball from Hughes got away from him. 1-0 count. Stegler, the second baseman, standing in the right side of the plate. Hughes, the righty, on the mound. Sets and delivers. Misses again high and inside. This one a little closer to the plate. With 2 outs, Hughes looking to get that final out to try to bring up those Miner bats. So Hughes is 2-0. That's inside for a strike. Way to paint that part of the plate there for Hughes. Count sits at 2-1. With 2 down here in the top of the 7th inning, score 4-2. Pilots leading. As Stegler hits one into right on his horse, his jump, who leaps and dives but cannot catch it. That ball was in foul territory. Excellent hustle there from the right fielder, Hunter Jump, who may have been well out of reach of it, but still had the diving effort. You got to love to see that early in the season, that Jump's willing to put his body out for his teammates. Stegler will regain himself, step back in the box. Count tied up at 2. 2 down here in the top of the 7th inning. Hughes trying to get out of this inning and bring those minor bats up. His pitch fouled back by Stigler. Miners trailing the Pilots 4-2. Miners winning in game 1 of today's doubleheader 8-1. Remind you that this series was split on Friday in the doubleheader 1-1. Where the Pilots won game 1, Miners won game 2. Hughes' 2-2 pitch. Stigler lifts one slicing foul over the right side. Well over the bullpen. And last year, Pilots only picking up 1 win against the Miners in the season series. The Miners won that season series 10-1. Count tied up at 2 down, top of the 7th inning. Stigler in. Hughes' pitch. Breaking ball misses on the outer edge. Nice pitch there from Sean Hughes. Tried to get Stigler chasing, but he wasn't biting. So count is full. 2 men down for the Pilots. They lead 4-2 and have runners on 2nd and 3rd. Hughes sets the payoff pitch. Swung on by Stigler. Just fouled. Stigler got the dead end of the lumber on that one. So we'll try that again. Stigler has 2 Pilots in scoring position. There is 2 outs, however. Hughes' pitch. Swung on by Stigler. On his horse, running back is Danny Wright into right center field. He's camped under it for out number 3. So Hughes escapes the jam. The Pilots leave 2 on. They don't get anything out of it. And the Miners will look to tie it up or maybe even walk off here in the bottom of the 7th inning when we come back on Matsu Miners Radio. Bottom of the 7th inning, final inning of today's doubleheader, unless the Miners tie it up. And the Miners, it is a 7-inning game due to the doubleheader. And we have a new pitcher coming in, Alex Stigler, who was playing second base. As we see Curtis check in at second for the Pilots. I beg your pardon. So the Matsu Miners looking to rally here in the Valley. Down 4-2. Danny Wright steps in. And he's the leadoff batter. He looks at one on the outer edge for strike 1. Danny Wright 0 for 2 on the day. Danny Wright misses low and away. Or excuse me, Stigler misses low and away. And these final 3 batters for the Miners today are combined 1 for 6. But they look to get some magic here in the bottom half of the 7th inning as Wright swings through and fouls one off. 1-2. Danny Wright, who came into this game really on fire to start the season, leading the league in batting average. He came into this one 7 for 12. He looks to get a hit right now. The 1-2 to right. Smacks one on the right, deep right center field. On his horse from center and making the catches, Gerard, for out number 1 of the inning. First, I thought that might have gotten through the gap, but just had a little too much air under it from Wright. So, first out of the inning. Now stepping in is second baseman Brett Owen. Right-handed hitter will face the right-handed pitcher in Stigler. Owen has the only hit of these last 3 batters as he looks at a strike on the outer edge. He singled back in the 2nd inning and flew out in his last at-bat, so he looks to get something going right now. Pitched Owen high and in, almost right at his head level as he kind of had to duck out of it. Count tied up at 1. Miners would love to get a rally going for this hometown crowd. 1-1 to Owen. Grounded right up the middle. So Brett Owen gets on, and the Miners bring the tying run to the plate. And that gets a little excitement here in this hometown crowd. So Brett Owen gets his 2nd hit of the day. That brings up pinch hitter coming in number 22, David Avitia, who started in game 1 at catcher. He'll pinch hit for Connor Denning, who was 0 for 2. And Avitia, back in game 1, went 0 for 3. Did score, however, on a walk. And after game 1 was played, sitting at 1 for 8 so far on the season. So he comes in to pinch hit. He's the righty. He'll face Stigler with 1 down and Owen on first. He looks at a first pitch strike. Always tough to pinch hit in these situations. Got to come off the bench cold and then thrown into the high-pressure situation. Down 2 here in the last inning. 0-1 to Stigler, or from Stigler, rather. Gets Avitia to swing through. So Avitia down in the count, 0-2 to Stigler with 1 down. Miners trailing by 2. Tying run is Avitia standing in on the plate. Stigler comes set, kicks and fires. Avitia looks at that bouncing one over. It's on the left-hander's batter's box for ball number 1. Count sits at 1-2. So Stigler pitched in game 1 back on Friday's doubleheader. So he delivers the 1-2, just misses on the outside as he kind of high steps back to the rubber, thinking that was strike 3. But instead, the count is tied up at 2. A lot of disagreement tonight from both sides on the strike zone. Count tied up at 2 to Avitia. The pitch. Avitia, hands caught up over to second. Unable to make the play is Curtis, who overthrows it to first. So Avitia is safe off the error from Curtis. He struggled making the play. And then on the throw over to first was well over Nogali's head. So the winning run is now at the plate in shortstop Drew Swift. Avitia will reach on an error, and Drew Swift steps in. He's 1 for 3 on the day. Got a base hit in his first at-bat. Ended up stealing a base and scoring. So Swift with a lot of speed. Owen, speedy as well. And now I believe stepping in pinch running is for Braden Merritt. So Merritt comes in to pinch run. Merritt the speedy at first. So speed on the base pass for the Miners. Swift looks at strike 1 inside from Stigler. Swift, the right-handed hitting shortstop. Stegler, the right-handed thrower on the mound. 0-1, one down. Swift looks at a ball, just misses low. So Braden Merritt started game one in center, is out on first. Owen on second. That could be a costly error from the Pilots if the Miners can take advantage. Swift looks at strike two on the inside part of the plate. So 1-2 is the count to Drew Swift with one down. But 2 runners on for the Miners. The tying run on first and the winning run at the plate. Stegler comes set. Glances over at second, delivers. Misses high and in. Count tied up at 2. Drew Swift trying to deliver big time here early in the season for the Miners. Stegler comes set. Delivers. Swift lines one down the line and left, but just foul. Big gasp by the Miners fans who thought that could be something special, as that had double written all over it. But Swift a little early, so the count stays at 2. One down, Miners trail by 2 in the bottom of the 7th inning. 7th and final inning, I may add. Stegler comes set, kicks and fires. Swift swinging, fouls one high over to the right side on both of their horses, but not getting there in time. Nogales and Rollington. Both runners tagging were ready to move just in case it was caught. But nothing doing, so the count stays at 2. Swift stays alive. Swift and BP today a few times showed some pop, so he can definitely get it out there if he can rope one. But I know he just would simply like a base hit. Count tied up at 2. Swift in at the plate. Stegler on the mound. His pitch misses low and away as that bounces through the other left-handed batter's box. Count at full now to Drew Swift. Brett Owen on second. He had a base hit with one down in the inning and then moved over to second on the error from Curtis. And Avitia made it to first, and then Merritt in the pinch run for him. The 3-2 fouled well over to the right side by Swift. So Swift battling right now to keep this one alive with one down here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Stegler kicks some dust off the mound. Talks to his infield. Now toes the rubber. Looks in for his signals. Count is full. One down, bottom of the 7th. Stegler kicks and delivers. Swift swings through strike 3. That's out number 2 of the inning for the Miners. So big strikeout there from Stegler. So now the Miners down to their final out. And so far, the man of the game, this is the guy you want up if you're in the Miners. Tyler Bozzetti, 2 for 3 on the day. Double back in the first inning. Single in the third. RBI double, I may add, back in the first inning. And then he flew out in his last at-bat. He has been pretty lucky today. A few fly balls in foul territory that could have been caught were not. So hopefully the luck stays true with the green jersey wearing Miners. 2 down, Bozzetti steps in. The right-hander on right-hander matchup. He blasts one up foul, straight back. That is going to head into the bleachers, though. So count now 0-1 to Bozzetti. Runners on first and second. Score is 4-2. Pilots leading. Bozzetti would be the winning run if he were to happen to come in, but the tying run is over on first. Braden Merritt standing on first and Brett Owen on second. 2 outs, bottom part of the 7th inning. 0-1 count. Stegler v. Bozzetti. Stegler comes set, glances over at second. Kicks and fires. Bozzetti looks at one high and inside. Bozzetti, one of the newer guys from the Miners. Played his first game on Friday. As Stegler comes set, his 1-1. Bozzetti looks at it high in the middle of the plate for ball 2. So Bozzetti works to become high in the count. All these Miners fans sitting on the edge of their seat. hoping for something special. A little rally in the valley. The 2-1 from Stegler. Bozetti looks at it. Nice breaker. Had Bozetti iced up. So the Miners down to their final strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Here in the bottom of the 7th, 2 on for the Miners. Tying run on first. Winning run at the plate. Tyler Bozetti. B. Stegler. Stegler comes set. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on by Stegler. Ground ball over to third. And Kostis throws over to first. Not in time. Tyler Bozetti reaches. The winning run now on first base for the Matsu Miners with 2 outs. Tough play over there by Curtis with sort of a weak grounder as the infield was playing back. So he had to come up for it. Tried to make the throw over. Could not do it. And that'll be the 4th error for the Pilots. 2 this inning alone, Connor. If they lose, if the Miners can somehow pull this off, that's got to be the vocal point.
Well, this is the guy you want at the plate right now. It's your 3-hitter. He might be new, but he's a pure. He has one of the pure swings that we've seen so far in this short season.
He already has 1 RBI on the day. 1 for 3. Aaron Walters steps in, the left-hander from Texas A&M, looks at ball 1, blown away. So 1-0 is the count with two outs in the inning here in the bottom half of the final inning. Stegler comes set. The pitch to Walters. Walters grounds one right up the middle. That doesn't get through. Curtis stops it but can't make a play on it. So Brett Owen comes in to score, and the Miners are only down 1. Now the 5th error on the Pilots as the cleanup hitter Hunter Jumps steps in.
Well, it seems like the pressure is really getting to the Pilots. That's their 3rd error in this bottom half of the 7th inning.
And the second on Curtis, who came in for Stegler, who is pitching now, who was playing second base the whole game, and now is coming in to pitch. Curtis, the backup man for him, fortunately having 2 struggles. So stepping in is right fielder Hunter Jump, the lefty. Bases juice, winning run on second. Tying run at third. First pitch to Jump. He looks at it as it bounces in the dirt. So with 2 down, the Miners starting a little rally here. The Miner crowd getting a little rowdy, wanting their Miners to pull something off. The 1-0 to Jump. Swings through in the gap between short and third. Caught off there by Kostis, who stopped for it. And that may have kept the game alive as he did not make a play on the ball, but it only allowed 1 run to come in for the Miners. Nevertheless, it is a tie ball game as Hunter Jump drives in Braden Merritt. As the catcher Austin Pinarini steps in off Hunter Jump's infield single.
Well, this is a classic. You put the bat on the ball, you make things happen.
So Stegler comes set. 2 down still for the Pilots. Bases loaded. Pinarini looks at ball 1, or strike 1 rather. And that's back-to-back hitters for the Miners. Or I should say 3 hitters in a row, really, that have just simply got the bat on the ball, and we have a tie game of 4. The pitch to Pinarini, blasted into center field. Does it have enough on it? I don't believe it does. And Gerard under it makes the catch. So what an inning for the Miners. They came in down 2, and they'll leave this inning tied up at 4 as we're going to head into extras. Top of the 8th coming up on Matsu Miner Radio. Stay with us. This could be a fun one. We got some free baseball for the fans out here today at Herman Brothers Field and for you listening at home or wherever you may be. Once again, we'd like to thank you very much. And we have a pitching change for the Miners. It's the sixth pitcher today for Matsu. And as we have this quick break, we'd like to thank our official sponsor of the Matsu Miners Internet radio broadcast, the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska, and owner Jim Ruda for sponsoring or being the official sponsor of the Matsu Miners Internet broadcast, Napa Auto Parts of Alaska, and owner Jim Ruda. So stepping into pitch now is right-hander Bryce Tassin for the first time in his Miners career. One of the guys that just came in, I believe, yesterday, if not this morning, as Pinarini goes ahead and talked to him on the mound. This is the first time these two are getting to know each other. Bryce Tassin, the 6'2" right-hander out of Southeast Louisiana, and hails from Walker, Louisiana. Just finished up his redshirt sophomore year at Southeast Louisiana. So he looks to keep this thing tied as the Miners rallied for 2 runs in the bottom half of the 7th inning to keep this ball game going. It was a nice slow rally here in the Valley. So Tassin's first pitch gets Mikey Gangwish, the catcher, to swing through. Gangwish leading it off for the Pilots. So the Pilots, after leading ever since the 3rd inning, game is now tied as Gangwish fouls one off over to the left side. Pilots have been leading for 3 2/3 innings before the Miners came back to tie it with down to their final out. And Tassin gets Gangwish to swing through for out number 1 of the inning. I tell you what, Connor, these relief pitchers, the last 3 really coming in for the Miners, have just shut the door down.
Yes, they have. You know, the combination between Malachi Emmon, Asa Lacey, Sean Hughes, and now we have Bryce Tassin. This is a strong pitching staff that can take the Miners deep into the postseason this year, yet again.
But we have another pinch hitter stepping in. 15, Elliot Curtis.
He stepped in. This was the designated hitter spot. Now he's at second base.
So Curtis looks at a ball blown away. Count is up at 1-1. Tassin winds and delivers to the lefty Curtis, who lines one up and ranging over to his right and making the play is Brett Owen for out number 2 of the inning. Nice play there from Brett Owen as that was hit on a line, a little two-hopper from Owen at second. And I tell you what, Connor, these Miners just seem excited, which is really good to see at the beginning part of the season that they care. Even just this early season game, they all seem to be kind of hopping, cheering each other on and wanting to score and wanting to win this game and sweep the doubleheader today. As Kosas steps in for the Pilots, the left-hander. As Tassin gets him to swing through a fastball. 0-1, 2 down, score tied at 4 here in the 8th inning. Swung on and missed again and by Kosas. Tassin ahead in the count, 0-2 with 2 down. Tassin winds and delivers. Just misses on the outside edge for ball 1. Kosas 0 for 3 on the day with 2 strikeouts, so looking to make up for that now as he looks at an inside ball. Kind of had to peek back for it. And Brett Owen actually took a few jog steps into home plate, thinking that was strike 3. Count tied up at 2 with 2 down here in the top of the 8th. Tassin's pitch got him looking. Strike 3 on the outer edge. The Miners head in to the bottom of the 8th inning with a chance to win this ball game. All thanks to 3 up and 3 down production from the right-hander Bryce Tassin. When we come back, come see if the Miners can try to walk it off here in the bottom of the 8th inning here at Herman Brothers Field on Matsu Miners Radio. Welcome back into our first inning of extra innings here, the 8th inning, as Bryce Tassin slammed the door on the Pilot hitters in the top half, setting them down 3 in a row. And the Miners look to come up and win this game. They only need one as it's tied up at 4. Kona Quiggle will lead things off, followed by Danny Wright and Brett Owen. And Wright and Owen, or rather Owen, I should say, got the rally started in the last inning to tie things up. This time the Miners get one across. It'll be the game-winning run. So the big lefty, Kona Quiggle, steps in. He's 1 for 2 on the day with a base hit and a stolen base. First pitch to Quiggle. He looks at it in for a strike. Looked to be taking the whole way there, trying to figure out Stigler. Stigler winds and delivers the 0-1. Quiggle hits one into center. Will it drop? Will not. Excellent diving play there by Gerard, who read it perfectly and came in at the right time to make the grab for out number 1 of the inning. So stepping in, the center fielder, Danny Wright, looking for his first hit of the game. He's 0 for 3. Wright, the switch hitter, batting lefty once again. So Stigler winds and delivers. Wright hits one over to the left fielder, Daniel, who ranges back and makes the overhead grab for out number 2 of the inning. So 2 up, 2 down so far for the Miners as Brett Owen steps to the plate. But Stigler came in relief effort for Jed Mascott, who really pitched super well. 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, and 2 runs, both earned, before Stigler came in that last inning.
Well, the defense really did not help Stigler out at all.
So Owen looks at a ball low and in the dirt, 1-0. 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th, tied up at 4. Miners looking to walk it off right now, as Owen looks at another ball in the dirt. Stigler on the mound for the Pilots. His pitch misses outside, 3-0. So the Miners trying to sweep today's doubleheader, 2-0, and move to 4-1 on the season. That would give them the outright lead in the ABL currently, as they sit tied with the Oilers at 3-1. As Owen taking all the way, looks at a strike on the inner part of the plate. Stigler winds and delivers and misses away. Owen will take his base on a 5-pitch walk. So that brings up Braden Merritt, who came in to pinch run for David Avitia, who came in to pinch hit for Connor Denning. Avitia reached on an error, and then Merritt came in to run for him. So Merritt, back in game 1, went 0 for 2 at the plate. So looking to get a hit today. First pitch to Merritt misses away from Stigler. Merritt, the left-hander. So Owen out on first. Owen definitely has some wheels to him as Stigler checks over. Wouldn't be just surprised to maybe send him. Now, if there weren't 2 outs, you would definitely imagine the possibility of a bunt here from Merritt. But with 2 down, I'd imagine Merritt swinging away. The 1-0 to Merritt misses on the outer half of the plate. 2-0. Stigler falling behind early now to these Miners hitters after shutting down the first 2 in a row. 2 down, score tied at 4. The pitch to Merritt is in there for strike 1. Merritt taking what seemed to be all the way there, trying to get Stigler to throw him a strike. So Owen stands on first after drawing the walk. He would be the game-winning run if brought in. The pitch to Merritt fouls it off over to the left side. Stigler's worked the count, tied up at 2. So a lot of crowd cheering over there by not only the fans, but also that Miner bench. They're into this one. They want to get this victory. Stigler comes set. The 2-2. Owen on the move. Ball on the outside. The throw down is not in time. Owen escaped right behind it. It did get in there, but I think Owen slid behind it in there for a stolen base. So now the winning run is on second as associate head coach Larry McCann wants to go have a chat with the second base umpire. And I'll tell you what, the Pilots cannot afford to lose another coach as he's arguing with that second base umpire. And it's a quick argument.
Well, he came running right out of there as he believed that the throw beat Owen to the bag. And it might have well did. You know, from where we were sitting, it looked like the throw beat him to the bag, but maybe the tag wasn't there. Second base umpire, of course, had a better look. He was closer. Safe was the call.
The count is full. 2 down. The payoff pitch. Merritt fouls it straight back. And you got to mention about the sliding. The sliding techniques of stolen bases has improved tremendously over the past 5-6 years on the way guys goes into bases. It's really analyzed now, and they really figure out how to slide into bases. And Owen showed it there, stealing second. Count's full. 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th. Merritt swinging, fouls it off to the left side to stay alive. So Owen's the winning run here in the bottom of the 8th. Only a 7-inning game, so we are technically in extras here at Herman Brothers Field. So 4-4 is the score currently between the Pilots and the Miners. Miners looking to sweep today's doubleheader. The 3-2 with 2 down. Merritt grounds it up the middle. Curtis receives it. Throw to first is not in time. Braden Merritt delivers. With a full count, Merritt slaps one up the middle. Curtis ranging over to his right, tried to make the play, but the speedy Braden Merritt gets on. So now the runner's on the corners, but more importantly, the winning run is on third. So once again, Drew Swift will have a chance to win the game for the Miners. So last time he came up, there's actually a chance to tie it as he was the winning run. And Swift lines one over to short. Aruda makes the play, throws over to first just in time for the out. So the Miners get 2 on, get actually that winning run to third, but can't bring them in. So we'll head into the 9th inning, still tied up at 4 between the Pilots and the Miners on Matsu Miner Radio. Second inning of extras here at Herman Brothers Field, home of the Matsu Miners, between the Pilots and the Miners. We're still tied up at 4 as the Miners tied it all the way back in the bottom of the 7th, which was the final inning, considering we're only playing 7 innings in today's doubleheader. Top of the 9th, in to step in is Jordan Aruda, who looks at ball 1 low and in. On for a second inning of work is Bryce Tassin. Set the Pilots down 1-2-3 last inning as Aruda fouls it straight back over the box. So supposed to only play 7 innings because of the doubleheader, but here we are playing 9, Connor, because of the extra innings. Tassin winds and delivers the 1-1. Ground over to short. Swift up to make the play. Throws over to first. Nice play there from Drew Swift. Route number 1 of the inning.
Now batting, number 21,
Stepping in
Zachariah Gerard.
is Zachariah Gerard, right-hander. He is 0 for 2 on the day with 2 walks. Gerard coming into this game as he takes strike one high and inside was 2 for 11 with no walks. So he's thrown his first 2 walks of the season as it's 0-1 to Gerard, fouls it back and over to the right side for strike number 2 with 1 down in the inning. So the Miners only after only going through 2 pitchers last game, have gone through quite a bit more as Gerard lines one over to the right side, grounds right through Owen and to right center field. And Gerard is on. He would be the go-ahead run for the Pilots.
Now batting left fielder number 14, Braden Daniel.
So Gerard reaches on a base knock. As Braden Daniel steps in, the left fielder, right-handed hitting left fielder. Looks at ball 1 inside. Count sits at 1-0. Tassin on the mound. Over on first is Gerard. Tassin looks over. Kicks and delivers. Misses outside for ball 2. So the 2-0 from Tassin. Check swing foul by Daniel, who thought about going around, but by the time he stopped his hands, the ball was right there to fly off. The 2-1 from Tassin. God, the corner painted for strike 2. Count tied up at 2. With 1 down here in the top of the 9th inning. We're in extras. Tassin kicks and fires. Misses outside again. The count has been worked full by left fielder Braden Daniel. Over on first is Gerard, who had a nice hard hit single. He would be the go-ahead run. Tassin's pitch swung on, belted over the right fielder, jumps head. That's going to be a one-hopper to the wall. He throws in. Around second to third is Gerard. He'll be held up. So Braden Daniel delivers in the clutch here in the top of the 9th inning with a 1-out stand-up double to move the go-ahead run to third. That's just the second hit in 3 1/3 innings, Connor. That just goes to show you how well these minor relievers are coming in. As we take a quick pause, all the infielders and the catcher Pinarini take a visit at the mound with pitching coach Jeff Erlab, and rightfully so, trying to calm down Tassin. With this break in the action, we like to thank the official sponsor of the Matsu Miners Internet broadcast, Napa Auto Parts of Alaska, and owner Jim Ruda for sponsoring the Matsu Miners Internet broadcast. Once again, the official sponsor of the Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. So stepping in, right fielder Eli Rollinson with the infield in for the Miners as the go-ahead run is on third. Runners on second and third. Infield in. Outfield playing normal depth as Tassin delivers a first pitch strike to Rollinson. Righty on righty matchup. Rollinson kicks and fires. Rollinson dribbler to short. It was actually right off of his foot, I believe, for the plate. As Drew Swift was ready to make the play, sprinted up. That would have been a nice out there for the Miners if it would have been fair. Nevertheless, it's an 0-2 count. So if Tassin can get the strikeout here, that would be pretty big for the Miners. Tied up at 4 in the top of the 9th inning. We are in extras with the shortened game. 7 because of the doubleheader. Tassin comes set. His 0-2 pitch. God, Rollinson swinging. Nice pitch there from Bryce Talents. Tassin up and in for the second out of the inning. And you hear the cheering in the air horns. Tassin's second strikeout of his Miners career in the game. Now stepping in is first baseman Emilio Nogales, who struck out in his last at-bat. Now infield moves back to normal depth. With 2 outs, Tassin takes a step off the rubber, takes a deep breath, wipes himself down, and is back and ready to throw. Looks in for a signal. First pitch to Nogales misses on the outside part of the plate. Nobody up in the Miners or the Pilots bullpen. So 1-0. Nogales, the first baseman, the lefty in there with 2 outs. He's swinging, fouls straight back into the fence. Count at 1 ball, 1 strike. With 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. Pilots wanting to win to split the doubleheader, and the Miners wanting to win to sweep the doubleheader. Tight. Tassin looks over at third and delivers. Just misses low for ball number 2. So the outfield shifted over towards the left side just a tad, even though Nogales is a lefty and known to hit it oppo. And he swings through a fastball to tie the count at 2. With 2 down, Bryce Tassin trying to have another shutout inning for the Miners. Count tied at 2, 2 down, runners on second and third for the Pilots. Tassin comes set. Kicks and fires. Just misses inside and low. Count has worked the full. First base is open if Tassin misses, but I'm sure he won't intentionally be missing as we're already in extras. And I'm sure head coach Ben Taylor wants to get out of here with a win sooner rather than later. So Tassin looks in for a signal. Go ahead, run on third for the Pilots. 2 down. Time is called by the batter Nogales. It's all about a rhythm game most of the time in sports. Nogales didn't want to stay in there too long, as I'm sure the pressure's on here. Full count, 2 down. Runners on second and third for Nogales. The pitch from Tassin. Just misses low and away. As that one was right on the edge. But it seems like all game, home plate umpire has let that be called a ball, so cannot hate on the consistency there.
Well, it's not the worst thing in the world for the Miners. Now there's a force at every base. So if there's a ground ball at short or second, they can just step on the base, don't have to make a throw. Go the easy way.
So the pitcher, Stegler, steps in, trying to help himself out and get a base hit. And he rockets one right over Swift's head in the gap between center and right. Scoring from third is Gerard, and around third and scoring is Daniel. So the Pilots take a 2-run lead off the Alex Stegler RBI, 2 RBI single in the top of the 9th. What a clutch hit. With 2 outs, Stegler, who's been pitching pretty well after letting the Miners tie it up. So now there's runners on the corners for the Pilots off Stegler's 2 RBI single. So the catcher, Mikey Gangwish, with runners on the corner. Still 2 outs for the Miners. So looking for that 3rd out to only be down 2 runs. Gangwish swings through Tassin's first pitch. That's the first run for the Pilots since the 5th inning. But it came at a great time. Right now, they currently lead 6-4 here in the top of the 9th. The pitch, Pinarini thought about throwing down. Probably tried to fake out to get Nogales over on third. Take a few steps down. Nevertheless, count tied up at 1 with 2 down here in the 9th inning. Tassin comes set, takes a quick overlook at third. Gets Gangwish swinging through. He's ahead in the count, 1-2. He has a chance to send this into the bottom of the 9th with the Miners only down 2 runs. Tassin looks in. Tassin comes set. Kicks and deals. Strike 3 called. Tassin gets the third out, but the Pilots go up by 2 runs once again, so the Miners will have to do a really little rally in the valley action and get 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th, or the Pilots tie this series up at 1. Find out what happens next on MatsuMinersRadio.com. Welcome back into Herman Brothers Field as we are in our 2nd inning of extra innings here in the bottom of the 9th. Only playing 7 innings because of the doubleheader. And we see a new pitcher for the Pilots, only their 3rd pitcher of the evening. Going to be Ryan Hodgett, relieving Alex Stigler, who went 2 innings. Only gave up 1 hit, but did give up the 2 runs. Only one of those was earned, as there was a lot of errors in the bottom half of that 7th inning that allowed the Miners to come back to tie this thing up. The Pilots now with the lead, 6-4, excuse me. So Ryan Hodgett will look to slam the door here. A right-hander out of Bradley University and hails from West Chicago, Illinois. Leading off, this is definitely the part of the order that you Miners fans would want. The 2nd hitter in the lineup, Tyler Bozetti, the 3rd baseman, who did reach in his last at-bat on the air. So Bozetti, the right-hander, steps in, definitely putting a lot of balls in play. Even has 2 hits on the night. Hodgett from the windup. In there on the outside edge for strike 1. So can the Miners find lightning twice and tie it up? Hodgett winds. Bozetti looks at 1 up near the numbers. They check down to first. He did not go, as Bozetti just barely leaned in, but you never know. So the catcher Gangwish wanted to check it out. 1-1 count. Nobody out in the bottom of the 9th. Pilots lead 6-4. Bozetti looks at strike 2 in the lower half. So Bozetti needs to protect here with a 1-2 count. Pilots looking to split this doubleheader. Miners looking to sweep it as the Miners won 8-1 in game 1. The pitch from Hodgett fouled off to the right side by Bozetti. So got a piece of it. Seeing little drizzles maybe out there on the field currently. It's been dark for most part of the afternoon now as we head into the nighttime. Hodgett's 1-2. Swung through by Bozetti for strikeout and out number 1 of the inning. So nice pitch from Hodgett to blow it right by Bozetti. Now stepping in, number 15, Aaron Walters. And he even reached on an error in his last at-bat as well. It was actually an RBI off an error that allowed the first run out of the 2 tying runs in that 7th inning as he looks at ball on the inside half of the plate. So Walters looking to reach here. We know Walters has that home run power, but you'd rather see him reach. The 1-0 to Walters, low and outside for strike 1. Count evened up at 1 to the Texas A&M right-handed batted first baseman. Hodges winds and deals. Gets Walters to foul it back. Count sits at 1-2. We have 1 out in the bottom 9th of the 9th. Pilots lead the Miners 6-4. And if you remember, the Miners did all their scoring down to their final out in the 7th. I'm sure they wouldn't like to get it to that point again, as there's only 1 down now. So Walters pops it straight up, just behind home plate. Gangwish under it, and makes the grab this time. Remember earlier in the game, Gangwish happened to drop one. This time makes the grab for out number 2. So the Miners down to their final out of the game. And stepping in, trying to extend this game, is the right fielder, Hunter Jump. Base hit in his last at-bat for an RBI to tie the game, so had the clutch genes last time he was up. Can he keep this thing going here in the bottom of the 9th? Hodgett, the big right-hander, looks to shut it down. He misses low and away, though, for ball number 1. So 2 down in the bottom of the 9th. Pilots lead the Miners 6-4. The pitch to Jump. He fouls it over the left side. It's slicing foul on his horses. Daniel runs over. Can't quite make it in time, so Jump will stay alive at 1-1. Jump, one of 3 Arizona State players on this team. The Sun Devils, definitely prevalent on this roster. Have many guys that hail from the same schools. Count tied up at 1 with 2 down. Hodges winds and delivers the Jump. Jump lines one down the right field line. That is fair. All the way towards the wall and stopping. Jump around first on his horse. Gets to second where he'll stand up. So Jump keeps this thing alive with the 2-out double. Hunter Jump comes through in the clutch once again to bring up the catcher, Austin Pinarini. So Jump out there on second. Pinarini is the tying run at the plate. Nice hit there by Jump. In on the hands, got the hands through and lined one down the right field line. And it must be getting wet out there, Connor, because that ball literally stopped before it got to the wall. Before the right fielder, Rawlingson, can get it. So Pinarini steps in the catcher. Pinarini stepped in with a bases loaded situation, possibly win the game back in the 7th, and flew out to the center fielder, Gerard, this time looking to deliver here in the bottom of the 9th. A pitch to Pinarini, misses high and away. He is the tying run, as the Miners still trail 6-4, but they have their tying run at the plate. You can't ask for much more. The pitch. Pinarini fouls it straight back over to the left side. Count sits at 1-1, 2 down. Miners down to their final out. After giving up 2 runs in the top half of the inning, they need Pinarini to come around and score if they want to keep this thing alive. The pitch to Pinarini. Shot to first base, gets through into right field around third, trying to score his jump. He will standing. So Austin Pinarini comes in the clutch, and now the tying run is on first, and the game-winning run will come to the plate. And big left fielder, Kona Quiggle. So what an RBI single there from Austin Pinarini, who delivers. As Kona Quiggle stops and has a quick conversation with Hunter Jump before Jump heads to the dugout, probably speaking on what pitches he can expect, where to expect them, and when he can expect them. So Quiggle, in his last at-bat, last inning, flew out to the center fielder. So with 2 outs, the first pitch to Quiggle is low and outside corner for strike 1. So game-tying run on first. And the game-winning run in Quiggle is at the plate. The 0-1 from Hodges. Misses. Low and away. Count tied up at 1. Quiggle stands in, the big lefty. His pitch fouled it straight back. Ooh, just missed that one. That was his pitch. If he could have gotten a hold of that one, that could have been something, Connor. So Pinarini stands on first. Miners down to their final strike. A 1-2 with 2 down. Miners down 6-5. Hodges comes set and delivers. Quiggle stays alive by fouling it back. So Kona Quiggle trying to be the man in the clutch for the Miners to keep this game going. 1-2, 2 down. The pitch. Called strike 3. That'll do it. Low and inside. The Pilots get the win. And will tie up this doubleheader at 1-1. So the Pilots win 6-5. And the Miners comeback here falls just short in game number 2. So the Pilots win with 6 runs off 9 hits, and those 5 errors that we thought 4 errors rather that we thought might be costly ended up not being too much. And the Miners dropped with 5 runs on 12 hits and only 1 error. So once again, your final score here from game 2 of the doubleheader is Pilots 6 and Miners 5. Pilots and Miners split the series 1-1. Keep it tuned. We'll have your post-game show for you with interviews from head coach Ben Taylor and our player of the game from the Miners. And once again, your final score, Pilots 6, Miners 5. Pilots and Miners split the doubleheader in a few minutes. Our post-game show here on Matsu Miners Radio. It's been our pleasure bringing it to you. Thank you for listening. One final time, Pilots 6, Miners 5. We'll see you next time.